Please rise for invocation by Pastor Ken Sharp of High Point Pentecostal Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, I love you today. I thank you for this opportunity to be here, to represent you as we conduct our business. I thank you for this beautiful day that you've allowed us to enjoy, the breath and the mercy that you've extended to each of us. Lord, we live in trying times, but you are able to guide us, and I ask for special understanding and guidance for our leaders as they help direct our community and our city today. Give them wisdom, give them understanding, give them patience. And Lord, I ask that you would bless them, bless their homes, their finances, bless our city. And we give you all praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Foley.
Here.
Councilmember Sherlock.
Here.
Councilmember Baxter.
Here.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Here.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Stiltner.
He's here too.
And Mayor
They're both here.
Present. We have a quorum. And with that, we've got several proclamations to start with. Make sure I'm pulling the right one first. Oh, that's the third one. That's the second one. I reversed the order when I signed them, it looks like. Do we have a recipient for the National CRNA Week? Why don't you come on up to the podium? We'll bring them all back. Why don't you tell us who you are into the microphone there?
Hello, my name is Kate Olson. I am a local Port Orange resident, and I also serve the community in the role as a certified registered nurse anesthetist. We provide anesthesia services to all healthcare settings, including both Advent Hospital, Halifax Hospital. We work at local surgery centers, pain management clinics, outpatient healthcare settings, and pretty much anywhere that you could find somebody who needs anesthesia services, we are there to provide them for you safely.
And with that, I have a proclamation to read. Whereas certified registered nurse anesthesiasts, did I say it? Anesthetists. Okay. I can't make up my own words. I got to use the ones that are here. Are advanced practice registered nurses, providing anesthesia care to patients in the United States for more than 150 years. CRNAs are among the nation's most trusted professions, whereas legislation was passed by Congress in 1986 made nurse anesthetists, why am I having it's that fifth syllable, the first nursing specialty be accorded direct reimbursement rights by Medicare, and whereas CRNAs are primary anesthesia providers in the rural communities and continue to be the primary providers of anesthesia care to U.S. military personnel. And whereas CRNAs practice in every setting in which anesthesia is delivered, from traditional hospital surgical suites and obstetrical delivery rooms to critical access hospitals, from ambulatory surgical centers to the offices of dentists, podiatrists, ophthalmologists, pain management specialists, and more. And whereas CRNAs are qualified to make independent judgments regarding all aspects of anesthesia care based on their education, training, and licensure. And whereas CRNAs, trusted anesthesia experts, are on the front line, caring for the patients safely and compassionately, delivering specialized, cost-effective care to all patients, from newborns to seniors, for every type of procedure, in all types of facilities. And whereas CRNAs are courageously serving on the front lines of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, using their advanced skills in airway management, intubation, and ventilator management to care for the sickest patients, leaving their homes and families to travel to hospitals and facilities across the country so they can assist where the need is greatest. So therefore now I, Donald O. Burnett, Mayor of the City of Port Orange, do hereby proclaim January 23rd to the 29th of 2022 is National CRNA Week in the City of Port Orange, and urge its residents to recognize the importance of certified registered nurse anesthetists and their role in providing high-quality health care for the public. And with the seal of the city and my signature, it is so declared in this day and on this place. And I present this to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all very much.
Okay, and the next one, this is another toughie. I always have trouble getting through this on human trafficking. Do you have our representatives? Did she make it? Oh. This is such a tough subject, and as far as I'm concerned, doing this proclamation every year is the least that we can do. So if you will tell everybody who you are and who you're representing.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Odetta Order-Rittener. I'm actually Victim Advocate Coordinator for the City of Port Orange Police Department, but I'm actually here on behalf of Christy Gillis, the Department of Children and Family, to accept the proclamation on her behalf.
And you, Christy, is the wonderful wife of the city manager of South Daytona. So it's really cool when I talk to Les and I say, oh, by the way, you're Christy's husband, because it happens the other way around so many different times. But for this purpose today, sorry she couldn't be here, but she is definitely a champion of this as well. Whereas human trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a pension for labor or service through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of forced labor or sexual servitude. And whereas human trafficking is a $32 billion a year global criminal enterprise and as a crime as well as a civil and human rights violation, and an estimated 25 million people, let me say that again, 25 million people are currently victims of human trafficking for both sex and labor. Whereas human traffickers prey on their victims by promising a life of hope and greater opportunity while delivering only the enslavement. Instead of delivering people to better lives, traffickers unjustifiably profit from the labor and toil of their victims, who they force through violence and intimidation to work in brothels and factories, on farms and fishing vessels, in private homes and countless industries. Whereas Port Orange, Florida is a vibrant city of over 63,000 residents who have the right to hope, freedom and economic security, safety, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, we commit ourselves to eradicating the evil of enslavement. Human trafficking is a modern form of the oldest and most barbaric type of exploitation, and we proclaim it has no place in our world, great nation, or our city. Whereas this month we do not simply reflect on the appalling reality, we also pledge to do all in our power to end horrific practices of human trafficking that plagues innocent victims, not only around the world, but are in our own neighborhoods. Now, therefore, I, Donald O. Burnett, Mayor of the City of Port Orange, do proclaim January 18th, 2022 as Human Trafficking Awareness Day in the City of Port Orange, and urge its residents, agencies, and champions to support efforts and take action to end human trafficking. With the seal of the city and my signature, it is so declared. And I just want to add, anybody thinks it doesn't happen around here in Volusia County, they're wrong. It's not just something that happens elsewhere and we hope to make it better. It happens right here. And it only stops when we are aware of what we see and then say something about it. And trees are good, right? You know, I'm going from happy subject to sad subject to happy subject. I need to order these a little bit better, I think. And whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, and produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood, for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. So therefore, I, Donald O. Burnett, Mayor of the City of Port Orange, do hereby proclaim January 21st, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Port Orange, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote well-being of this and for future generations. And it is so declared on this day and in this place. Did I have a recipient for this, or this is just what we do every year? I didn't think so. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And item 7, report from Kipper Sports on the Cypress Head Golf Course.
Good evening, Mr. City Manager, members of the council, and Mr. Mayor. Bob Duquette, General Manager of Cypress Head Golf Course. I can tell you that right now golf has been great. Last time I was here, actually, we had just kind of finished up the fiscal year for 21, and I never really did get a chance to tell you what those numbers would be. So if you don't mind, I'd just kind of like to give you those finals that we had for the end of fiscal 2021. All great numbers. I'm sure that you have seen these, but I'm going to just give you some of the highlights. The final year, or the final month in our fiscal year for 2021, our revenues were ahead by 14%, and we generated over $1.5 million in revenues. And our revenues, again, over the course, that was 16% higher than what we had done the previous year in 2019 and 2020. Surprisingly enough, with this whole pandemic, golf has really taken off, so it's been really kind of a boom for us, and as well as the fact that we've had probably one of the best conditioned golf courses right now has been great. Our EBITDA for the course, or the final of this for that year, was a positive $128,000 versus a projected loss of $55,000. Our Pro Shop revenues were higher by 44%. Our Rage revenues were higher by 26%. And the important spot is our payroll was lower by 3%, and our budget for expenses was equal. So increased revenues and controlled payroll and expenses, which is great. During that course, too, we were voted as the best golf course in both Volusia and Flagler County by the News Journal as well as Hometown News. Which is great. And also our annual survey that we have for customer response was a staggering 98% approval ratings by Google, recommending this Cypress Head for the golf course a place to play. So we ended the season, or the fiscal year of 2021, extremely well. So very thrilled about that. As we moved into the fiscal year for 22, we've had 2 months so far, actually 3, just don't have the final figures for December quite yet. So for the month of November, we finished 31% higher than projected budget. Again, this is due, we had 800 extra rounds more than the previous year. This, of course, is, again, great course conditions, great customer service, beautiful weather in sunny Florida, and an increase in the rate structure as well. So currently, for the 2 months that we've had in fiscal year 22, Our revenues are increased by 36%, and our payroll is just slightly higher, and a lot of that is due right now to labor hours, increase in minimum wage, other aspects from that point. And our operating expenses are definitely higher, unfortunately, due to this whole supply chain issue. And as you probably well know from other places in the city, the cost of materials and products has just jumped dramatically. Our superintendent, Darren Bakke, has been following the agronomic program that he's developed for us, and that has proven to be extremely beneficial for the golf course. During the month of November, we actually overseeded all the tee boxes, so that'll help us for the course of the upcoming winter season. And we also did some solid tine, which is an improvement of small holes generated into the greens themselves to improve putting surface, as well as oxygen and allow the roots and everything else to grow naturally. Improves the putting surface throughout the course of the winter months while the grass is not growing. Did tremendous with a lot of sales items. Black Friday sales, we had over $14,000 in gift card sales for the month of November, and $9,000 worth of Pro Shop sales as well. November, we were the host for the Florida High School Regional Championship. We had 80 players over the course of the state for the regions to play. Unfortunately, the players were great. Unfortunately, Spruce Creek came in fourth, and they only take the top 3 teams to go to the state finals. So it was sad to not see them make it, because they are a tremendous team, and they love practicing at Cypress Head, and the coach as well as the team members are really dedicated. The customer surveys continue to be really well. In this case here, we were, for the 2 months, we were actually at 100% of improvement by Google. Not much else to say from that point of view. The best thing I would like some acknowledgement as well, our relationship with the Parks and Rec Department, particularly Sue Lavallo, Kevin Sweat, and Pete Ferrara, have been great. We've worked really well with them, and they've been really helpful for us as well for anything that we may need. So the relationship has been great. I'm open for questions.
All right. Questions? Jonathan, do you have any?
I'm good.
Chase? Scott?
How do you want us to question that report?
What's that?
How do you want us to question that one?
It's been pretty awesome.
Why do you think he said it with the
I
smile on
was
his
curious
face
if
when
he
he
was
asked?
going to say there was room to improve on that 100%, but you know.
No, we're pretty
When
good.
the-
We work hard at it though.
Yeah, great job. I agree. I would just comment that I think you're right. While the weather has been great, it's the course conditions I keep hearing the most about, and the
Correct.
feedback in the community. So that's key, and it looks great out there. So that's awesome.
We just had the Florida Wildlife firefighters from the Florida department, and they just had their tournament over the course of the weekend, which was a very large tournament, and they were totally impressed.
That's awesome.
They brought in some heavy-duty equipment, which was pretty impressive for what the Florida fire guys have to do, but
Nice.
it's been great, and they were very appreciative of everything that
Good.
gets done for the events.
Good, thank you.
Drew, you got anything?
No.
Okay.
All good, thanks.
We're good? Thank you.
You're charged with bringing back reports like this all the time?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try really hard.
Okay. Public comments on consent agenda items. Anyone want to comment anything that's on the consent agenda?
Mayor, council members, Robert Reinhagen, 1425 Dexter Drive North, Port Orange. Item 17 about uncollectible accounts receivable debts. A number of them deal with hazardous use permits. And my concern would be that these are ongoing businesses that may be still operating and polluting our environment. I would assume that a permit grants the city the opportunity to enter the premises and make sure that they're conducting business in accordance with all the appropriate regulations. And if they fail to get a permit, I would hope that you're taking them to court, you're padlocking the front door, so that nobody would be in arrears. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Anybody else on the consent agenda? There being none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda for the evening?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda for the evening. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second?
We have a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda. Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont,
Yes.
Councilmember Bastian,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 5-0. Public participation non-agenda'd. Start with Don Dragowski.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Absolutely.
My name is Don Dragowski, longtime resident, same location for 27 years in the beautiful city of Port Orange. And my reason that I wanted to speak today was been trying to get a clear, concise answer on what the procedure is for notification of a resident when there's a massive water leak on their property. I've been going through this for over 30 days right now, and I got a bill right before Christmas that's astronomical. And I cannot see a reason why this happened with the software programs the city has invested in, the people, and the answers I got actually stoked the fire worse after I talked to some of the people. And the longtime resident, 27 years in the same location, an answer on a simple question is why to take. I still haven't been notified, just to go on record. My leak was found by a water meter reader. He come running to me, telling me shutting my water off. I was working out in my yard. That's how I found about this leak. Strange deal because it went straight down. There was no indication of water on the sidewalk or anything like that. It was in the box itself, and it went straight down into the ground. 144,000 gallons of water was wasted. My normal usage is 60 to 80 gallons a day. I was up to 11,400 gallons per day. The answer I got for why I wasn't contacted stoked the fire. 27 years, same residence, same phone number, same email address. We didn't have this is a quote, we didn't have a good contact for you. To me, that just upset me even more.
Yeah.
So I don't know what my situation is, if this is the right forum to bring it up, but I felt I had to be here this evening. I read all the ordinances and whatever. 18-26 appears that there is I guess if you're over 300% higher than the normal value of your usage, and then your next month after this astronomical usage goes back down to the average again, I believe there can be an adjustment made to the bill. And the bill was a terrible Christmas present, but I just want to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. And just another quick thing on my due diligence. Aquahawk is awesome, but there's one flaw in it right now. On the back of your bill it says, get online. There's a lot of people in Port Orange that aren't computer
Go ahead and finish your sentence.
literate or even have a computer. There should be a phone number that they can call in and get that information here so they don't go through this situation. And thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
And with the Aquahawk, I do, because I get the alerts sent to my phone, so
Yep.
I don't even have to go online. They can send it to, if you have a cell phone, they can send it to that with a text message.
My
I believe.
graph is just, I don't want to take up any more time unless you give me
Well, you
another.
kind of can't, but I did introduce our city manager to you
Yes, sir.
prior to the meeting because at this point, I told you that I'd be instructing him into looking at what we need to do. If he has to come back before us, he'll set that up.
Very
But,
good.
I'm not promising anything except
Understand.
that
Understand.
what I told you before. I'm going to put this in his hands.
And it's appreciated. Thank you.
Don, appreciate you.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don. Thank you.
Can I ask, if I could, Wayne, can you go over the notification process? Do we have anything, I know that if people signed up for alerts, but is there anything in our software that can read
you know, a situation like that is just abnormally, that would bring it to the attention of our staff.
Can I tell you what, why don't we, because that's going to go down a rabbit's hole, because I think we've all got some follow-up when we get into council comments. Be ready for that, please. Because that's not a quick answer.
No, that's fine.
Next person is Sarah Baker.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me comment. I'm here to speak about the Doghouse Bar and Grill that's at 3400 South Nova Road. The noise that comes from this place every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night is just untenable. I live a quarter of a mile away. I'm in my house with the windows shut and TV on, and I can hear the words. Friday night was really awful. It was an Aerosmith or Journey wannabe. Don't Stop Believin'. I mean, you could literally hear every word. I've spoken with a lot of people in Port Orange. I've spoken with a lot of people in South Daytona because I do live in South Daytona, but I'm right on the border. Nothing has changed. Nothing ever changes. These people are scofflaws. You have a noise ordinance that they just completely disregard. The police are called all the time to this bar, not only for noise complaints, but for a lot of things. Assaults, battery, fights, DUIs. I mean, it's just, they're horrible. They give you $2,500 a year in property tax, and that means that every time a police officer goes out there, it's $37 a year. There's no money left over, I'm sure, for anything else that is in your community. I'm begging you to please, if you could do something, because it's just, like I said, it's untenable. I have some suggestions on perhaps what you could do. I was thinking that your police officers could be a little more proactive. For a couple $100, you could get some noise meters and send them out there, like between 6 and 10, or beyond, because oftentimes they go beyond 10 o'clock at night. Check their decibel level at the property line. I know for a fact they have to be exceeding 65 decibels at that property line. So if they could go out there, I don't know how you do your patrols or anything, but send them out there proactively, measure, cite them. But that would also require a change in your ordinance as well in order to improve the citation. Maybe an escalating set of citations where you get one here, X at 1, you get 2 complaints, it's X times 3, 4, 5, and pretty soon you can take them to court or with your special master. The other thing with your special master, I've been told that a lot of times you take citations to them and they wave them away. Well, then you need to get a better special master, one that's going to actually, follow the law. And the city manager is the one who appoints the special master. I suggest you look into that. Your code enforcement people, I know they don't work after 5 or on weekends, but maybe you could do a double comp time exchange. Say you go there for an hour, check things out, you get 2 hours of comp time, something like that. Obviously not every week, not every day, not every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but enough that they know that you are watching. And then finally, if I could just finish.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
Finally, you could beef up your city code requiring a permit for outdoor music, because this is always outdoors. This is not indoor music. If it was indoor, it wouldn't be a problem, but it's outdoor music. And South Daytona has a permit section in their noise ordinance, and I printed it off, and hopefully you can use this as a template, because if they exceed the limits of the permit gets pulled. And the only thing that's going to make these people respond is if they get hit in the pocketbook, because they're doing this for the money. That's all they're doing it for. And and Mayor Burnett, I understand you might live within hearing distance of this as well.
Yes.
And
Which is
so
why the city manager's already heard from me about it.
okay, and so hopefully, I'm begging you, if you could please do something.
Thank you, Sarah.
Is there any, I'll stand for any questions. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Wayne, you and I are going to have some more follow-up conversations. Anonymous?
Mayor, please read the topic for the public.
It's your 3 minutes.
Well, please read the topic.
Okay, this is your 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, you got the paperwork. Please read the topic for the public.
I got it. Go ahead. It's your 3 minutes.
Please,
You're
I'm
wasting it.
asking you. I'm not wasting your time or my time. Please read the topic.
Request to take anonymous request for public record seriously.
Thank you.
Okay.
Council comments. Councilman Foley.
Sorry, I needed a second.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, first thing, I wanted to compliment the new signs over at the Causeway Park under the bridge. Saw those in the weekly. Went over, checked them out in person. They look great. So whoever all was involved in that, thought that was really cool. Secondly, I've spoken to Wayne and Jamie and staff about looking into the possibility of allowing the EAB to use some money from the Tree Mitigation Bank to do something for Earth Day, to provide trees maybe at a school or something for kids. We started talking about different ideas how we could use those funds for something. Currently the ordinance only allows for it to be done on city property, public use, but we're exploring that as an idea because we have over $100,000 sitting in that account. Could be used more immediately to do some good things and give the EAB a really good positive use.
Very creative.
So I spoke to him about that and we're working on that. Might have to come before us to adjust the ordinance to make it possible. And then finally, today I sat in on a meeting with James Hicks, who's our IT manager. We've been working on the website for the city, and I'm really excited about this. James and everybody on that team has done a really good job at kind of bringing the website forward at least what feels like a decade. Easier function, a better appearance, more usefulness in a smaller space, and I've gotten to be a small part of that and just kind of sit in on it. But I want to tell you guys that it's nearing completion, and it's going to be something to look forward to when it's done. So that's all.
All right. And Chase, I know you had a follow-up question already. We might as well get into that. Go ahead and reiterate that.
Yeah, before the follow-up, just to double up on your request, in light of, Speaker's comments. I know I've talked to her a couple times. Wayne, I know you and I have talked, Jamie and I have talked about this a number of times. I just want to reiterate my sense of urgency as well. I want people to do business here, but not at the expense of deterioration of the quality of life of our residents.
Wayne knows I have a neighbor that at 10:05 p.m. Is texting me.
Between you and Councilman Tremont, we've had a lot of conversations about this.
We have.
So the water question I had before, with our software, do we have in place anything in there that alerts the staff of any abnormal activity within a house? I know we have a situation where people can sign up, get alerts, but do we have anything that recognizes abnormal activity?
We do, and basically we would either have a phone number or an email, and the situation here, there was no phone number or email on record, so it was just the billing address, and that's where the issue for more prompt notification came from, is that this account didn't have a phone number or an email attached to it. But that's generally how that works, to get in a notification to somebody rapidly. I mean, in some cases it's obvious where the water is. In this situation, I think you heard that it wasn't like it was ponding or visible.
All right. So how many days was it going by?
I don't know the details. Ms. Hayes can come up and answer.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Robin Hayes. So approximately 11 days, there was a work order the first day, first or second of December, that noticed us that there was an abnormal use. Once that abnormal use was 400 and some odd gallons, the second day it says, okay, first day was 400, that's a new norm, and it resets it. That's the software, that's how it's actually scheduled to work. It did put a notice out there for us. There were 23 critical water leaks that day, the first. 18 of them were corrected. So out of those 18, they were either callback from Aquahawk, or the way Aquahawk software looks at it, it does read into our database. It says, do you have a phone number? We'll contact them even if they haven't signed up. So it went through the process, but there's not it doesn't put out a work order for our teams to know to go out there and look at that property. It does give us a notice, an email to the teams, but it doesn't actually put out a work order. So that's something we're looking into.
That's what I was going to ask. Are there adjustments that we can make?
There are. And then the other thing we're looking at is we've reached out to IT to see how many accounts that we have that do not have a phone number on them. Let's send out a postcard. Again, I spoke with the gentleman several times, and that was one of the ways that we can kind of correct this going forward, is how many accounts do we have that are, in his situation, 27 years old, and that account that many years ago may not have required a phone number, may not have required an email, because most of us probably didn't have emails 27 years ago. So again, there's just things that, even though a longtime resident, those items are not part of the record just because they may not have been required when he signed up for the services.
Might still
So-
have area code 904 in there.
Yes.
That was our area code back then.
Sure. And it recognizes it, right? So, so we are trying to take care of some of the other issues. Also looking to see if we can send out a work order. So that's something that'll take a little bit more time from the software. And then, of course, I think they're looking at upgrading Aquahawk or something in the future, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, there are several things we're looking at to try to keep this from happening again in the future.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, Scott.
I'm good. Thank you.
On that topic, Wayne, I certainly, I know that you're going to look into it, but I also want you to keep us abreast of what we can do to help him. I understand if I have a water leak on my property that I'm responsible for it. I get it, but we do have a mass system that has the ability to process information, and even if I'm responsible for that, we don't want to waste the water as a city. That water is a precious resource. We don't want to waste it at all. So if you would do me a favor and report back to us the findings on that. And certainly, that's, to me, it's twofold. One is you've got an incident that's occurred. We've got to address that. And then the second is that how do we improve this? We're getting all this data. It doesn't do us a bit of good unless we actually make it actionable somehow in all situations. So. Aquahawk, terrific tool. That's another thing. Now I'm cutting in on to Chase's time, but probably time to do a public information campaign about it to remind everybody that that is a resource out there for those that are able to use it electronically.
No, that's good.
You good?
Yeah. I'm good.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Okay. Scott?
Just a couple of things. Wayne, on Councilman Foley's comment for EAB projects. The other thing maybe to take a look at is we have a tremendous amount of the Brazilian pepper trees that have taken over the shoreline along the causeway in several places, and they're highly invasive to Florida. They choke out other vegetation. They can actually destroy mangroves and things like that. So I don't know if that might be a viable project that also fits our ordinance, to be able to hire a contractor to go in there and really clean out and try to remove a lot of that, because it's gotten pretty bad in some of those places. Just for the council's information, I've reached out to the city manager. We've had quite a few residents recently inquiring about some sidewalks damage and just the need for some general maintenance around the city center complex. So just a reminder that that is set forth in the CIP, and it's a project we're forthcoming. In addition to that, there's also the shoreline restoration project that has to occur first before they can really invest in going in there and fixing that, or we're just spending money that we're going to have to re-spend in a very short order. So I've asked Wayne to kind of bring us up to speed in the February meeting on timelines for those projects, and in the meantime he has taken a look to see some of the immediate damage, what can be done to try to mitigate some of that temporarily without having to spend a tremendous amount of money on that.
Orange paint and cones.
Orange paint, cones, barricades, just heightened awareness. But we've got several events coming up in the springtime. It's just you know, the oak trees are absolutely stunningly gorgeous in the complex. but those along with the lake, as the shoreline erodes, it's going to damage concrete bad and quick. So it's just catch-up time. So there's some the complex. This area has been around for quite some time, and there's some things there that need to be done. And on that, I'll just mention for the public that the also in the CIP this year, I believe, is the tunnel renovation for that to occur, as well as some paving projects in the parking lots and stuff. Also for council, Saturday morning, I will be attending the Ashton Lakes HOA meeting on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. They've got a few things they want to bring to our attention. A lot going on geographically around their area. So I'll be touching base with those folks and talking to them about some things. Some of the concerns are probably more related to some county stuff in terms of Williamson in that area and traffic light management, things like that. Also, we get a lot of people asking, when is the Airport Road Park going to be done? They are out there, reached out to Susan Lavallo, and she said that the mulch that they've been waiting for, the specialized mulch, has been getting installed, and tentatively they're hoping to get that park back open on February the 19th. It's a high-use park, a lot of demand, and tons of interest to get that back up and running. So that should be forthcoming here inside of about 30 days now. So that's all I got.
I'm looking forward to celebrating the ribbon cutting of
Yeah.
that reopening. That'll be a fantastic
It's
thing.
been a long time coming.
Drew, what you got for us?
I'm good. Long meeting, big agenda, I'm good.
Okay. Robin, can you come back up here again? I'm not sure that this council has had the opportunity to thank you and congratulate you on being named the city manager of Cocoa Beach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All I can say is, Wayne, that good job of hiring high-quality staff. Next time, don't get them too high quality, because then they leave for better things
Thank you.
sometimes.
It's been a pleasure.
We appreciate all that you've done for us while you've been here, and we want to wish you the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And before you leave, please have a conversation with Wayne. He and I actually talked about right after he got hired here. Many years ago, the city of Port Orange was involved in I'm not sure what the name of the project was actually called or the concept, but it basically was a sister city kind of a thing. Natural disasters just happened. It's just part of being around. We had a program way back then where we had sister cities that, God forbid, right, something happens, we're willing to come down and help out, and other cities are willing to do that. And we had a city in Mississippi, we had a Florida city, and things like that. It was something that Wayne and I had talked about, and I really want to make sure. I think it's a great idea, by
Sure,
the way,
I do
because
too.
things are gonna happen, and there's no city, especially our size or the size of Cocoa, that can do it all on their own. So
Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, that'd be a
Different
great.
cities.
Yes.
Yeah, be a great thing for you and Wayne to maybe just have some casual conversation about and think, and because it's far enough apart that hopefully both cities wouldn't be majorly and severely impacted at the same time, but it's close enough for us to be able to respond with resources as well. So congratulations.
Thank you. And I think Hurricane Matthew is probably a good example of that. So, and a couple others, they hit different parts of the East Coast, and
Yep.
that's what happens. And again, looking forward to it. I appreciate it. It's been great here, a great staff. It's been it's kind of bittersweet to leave, but I'm looking forward to it. But I truly
don't have
appreciate
to.
it. So.
Yeah, I'm
You're
sure
welcome,
you
sir.
can, you're pretty
Be
resortful, I'm
glad
sure
to
you can
keep you.
figure out how to do both,
I-
right? You got enough hours in a day.
I don't think there's enough hours for that. So, but I
Darn
appreciate
it.
it. But I wish you the best also. So, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also wanted to remind everybody that this Thursday is our long-awaited rescheduled town hall meeting. Thursday begins at 6:30 over at Lakeside Community Center. The impetus for it is that we do a strategic plan for the city, and in 2022 we haven't done any kind of update in, I believe, 6 years now, 7 years. 7 years. Keep forgetting it's 2022. I still feel like it's 2020 in the time warp we've all been in. So we update our strategic plan. We're looking 5 to 10 years out, even 20 years out. What's our city going to be? What are we looking at? What are we striving to be? And what do we want to do? Before we do that strategic plan, I felt it very important that our residents have the opportunity to come before us and let us know what kind of city they want. So this is your chance. Come see us 6:30. What we're going to do is we'll from 6:30 to 7. There'll be, you can meet and greet us individually. You can see some visuals and some aids and some other things that you can learn a little bit more about what's going on in your city. At 7 o'clock-ish, depending on how that's going, we'll break down and I'll do a short presentation which will kind of prelude to some of the things that we'll be doing in the state of the city in February, but just really to update our residents on what's going on. But then the 5 of us will sit up there in an old-fashioned town hall and big old stools and sit before anybody can bring before us just about anything that's on your mind. And we'll do our best to answer your questions and concerns, but more importantly, we want to hear from you about what do you want to see over the next 10, 20 years. The reality is that people have found Port Orange. It's a wonderful place to live. It's no longer a secret anymore. So what do we do with all these people that want to live here? So that's going to dictate some of the things we want to do. We can't turn back the clock. So the only thing we can do is figure out how to turn the clock forward in the best way possible to maintain high quality of life. But we need that input from everybody. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm really looking forward to this. We haven't done anything like this in quite a while. And it's a terrific opportunity. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that, and the invitation is out there. And with that, board appointments, interviews, and reports. Citizen Advisory Committee for the TPO. Mr. Bobby Ball.
Get that project done at the house yet, Bobby? Let's talk about the real
slow
stuff.
I got up.
Hurry up, man. You got to get home and finish.
I'm hurting. Bobby Ball with the TPO, or CSC for the TPO. We had our first monthly meeting in a little bit, so good to be back, although I think after the holiday it was a very small agenda. We had one item about the 2-year work program and just getting a few extra $1,000 for some additional public transit planning projects. So outside of that, we had some safety updates from DOT and the usual presentations, but nothing to speak of. So I'll be glad to take any questions if you have them or can convey a message. I think I owe you guys an update on I-95 at some point, but I think I did that maybe a month or two ago. So.
Anything else for Bobby?
Good for now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Great report. Short and sweet. That's the way to go, right? Golf Advisory Board report? Do we have anybody from the Golf Advisory Board? Guess not. Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Hey, Mark.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Good. We had our meeting right before this meeting.
Do me a favor and tell us who you are for the
Oh,
record,
I'm sorry.
please, sir.
Mark Bowling, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board
That's my
Director.
fault
That's
for
okay.
throwing you off your game there.
We had a meeting again tonight, and the topic of discussion, as it's been for most of our last few meetings, is the land acquisition that we're looking forward to trying to get north of Karasi Park. It's something that we're going to talk about hopefully with our joint session that we're going to have hopefully in the spring. Some of the ideas that we've been bouncing around are possibly bonds or some grants. I know that we don't have a grant writer right now, but if we do have a grant writer between now and our joint meeting, maybe we can have that person attend as well. We're growing fast. The land is going away fast. As you guys all know, the development in this area is going crazy, and I'm afraid that if we don't acquire that property now, somebody else will, and it'll be developed, and we won't have that opportunity to get that down the road. Just one idea that I was talking to Susan about today during our meeting is she was telling me about the amount of kids that we have in our soccer program. Last year we had 400. This year we have over 700 kids in our program. Okay? You can see how we're growing. There can be an awful lot of reasons why COVID, kids were staying home or whatever, and now we're getting back out there, or the parents are getting the kids back out there. But if this is the kind of growth we're seeing in our Parks and Recreation programs, we're going to run out of fields very, very soon. So those are the ideas. Those are what we want to talk about. These are the things that are on the top of our agenda going forward. So any questions from me?
You guys got anything?
guys got anything?
Good.
You said 600 kids?
Over
kids?
700 kids, yes.
In the soccer program?
In soccer program.
So it's 400 last year. What was it the year before that, by chance?
Susan? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Sorry, Susan.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You think you hide in the
We need a
corner.
wireless handheld y'all can just pass around.
Susan Val, Parks and Recreation Director. I don't have the number right in front of me, but we're usually right around, we are at 490 this year. Last year we're at 720 this year. The years before, we've always been right around 450, 500, somewhere in there. We've never seen numbers like we're seeing now for soccer, ever,
Wow.
since I've been here. I've been here 19 years, so it is a big change this year, and we're not sure why. But
Parents are tired of those kids sitting around the house all the time.
You get the kids outside.
You're gonna learn soccer.
Mark, there's
You're
one
out.
thing that I had for you, and I think I've mentioned it before. I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to discuss just the concept. If there's room, maybe at Spruce Creek Park or somewhere, to talk about a disc golf.
We talked about it. One of the areas that we thought about where we'd have enough room would be Bushman Park. The unfortunate thing about Bushman Park, though, is if we put a golf course there, a disc golf course there, we would have to cut down an awful lot of trees, and that would almost defeat the purpose of what we've got that park for now. So we're thinking about other areas. It's not off the agenda. It's something that we are definitely talking about, and we'll talk about in the future. Okay?
Appreciate it. Anybody else? That's it.
Good.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
The public hearing portion of our meeting is now open. I did have it zoomed in, but item 24 is the second reading of the Comprehensive Plan Capital Elements Annual Update. Oh, now it's, stop that. Scrolling on me. Here's it. I couldn't read it that small even with my glasses, so bear with me just a second. Ordinance number 2021-28 is an ordinance of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, amending the Comprehensive Plan Improvement Element, providing for fiscal year 22 to 27 5-year schedule of a capital improvement and supporting data, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances and resolutions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve ordinance number 2021-28.
Second.
We have a motion second. The item is open and on the floor for discussion. Second reading, council comments or questions?
Second.
There being none, anyone here care to speak to the item? There being none, back to council, final comments? Call the roll.
Councilmember Foley.
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont.
Yes.
Councilmember Vasquez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stillman.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 5-0. And the public hearing portion of the meeting is now closed. Brings us to regular agenda item. I just went to 1,080%. Ordinance number 2022-1 is an ordinance of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, amending the Port Orange Code of Ordinances, Section 2-27 and 2-30, providing for the salary of the mayor and members of the City Council, respectively, providing repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve ordinance number 2022-1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a proper second. The item is open on the floor for discussion. Council, I had requested this be put before us because it's actually been since the 20th century since council wages have been adjusted. And the reason why I feel like it's important is, A, we're addressing the future. I don't want Port Orange to be the kind of town that only people with money in their pocket can serve, because this is not something that we do for the money, but it should be a fair compensation. And I want anybody who's qualified to be able to run for the city council, speaking of the future. This doesn't take effect till the next council term in December. So, but I also want to put something in place that would affect, speak to the future. And partly from a pride standpoint, I don't think that this council deserves to be paid less than a New Smyrna Beach City Commission. But at the same time, do we have to be up where Daytona is? I don't think so. But we should be at or near the top of the salary scale. And the numbers that we put together and that I helped propose actually represents about a 2.56% raise every year cumulatively to get to the numbers that are proposed. So I know Jamie is going to add to that, but because it was me that requested it be put on the agenda, I felt that I should say some words up front. Jamie?
Thank you, Mayor. Jamie Miller, Deputy City Manager, here tonight to answer any questions. Did want to reiterate that per our city charter, changes to council compensation may only be considered during election year, which 2022 is, which is why this is able to come before you tonight. And as indicated, this would only take effect in December. So any changes that are made per charter take effect in December as well. So what you have before you tonight changes it to a system that is based off of the Volusia County Council and their salary, Volusia County Chair and their salary that gets adjusted every year. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about this item.
Theirs gets adjusted every year?
So how it works is the state of Florida, it is the Office of Economic and Demographic Research, publishes a report annually, which is the salaries of elected county constitutional officers and school district officials. It's a report for the EDR, gets published every year. And in that report, there's a calculation. It spells out county by county what different positions should be held. So the way that Volusia County does it is they take this report and they say, we're only going to take a percentage of what the state publishes to say our salaries, quote unquote, should be under state statute. And so then this would take a percentage off of that salary.
So the state comes up with a number and then the county decides what percentage of the number
Correct.
they want to go by?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then some of the municipalities then go by a percentage of that number?
That is the
that
model
kind of what's
utilized
going on?
by New Smyrna Beach.
Okay.
The other cities,
How does Daytona do their model?
they just set a rate, which similar to how we currently
Do
do,
they do
which
it every
just sets
year,
a rate.
or is it just?
So under our rules, if we just set a rate, we could only consider changes to it on election years.
Okay. And so then the proposal is to model New Smyrna's.
It is a slight variation of it, but what it would take is the county council, the rate that's established for the county council, it would take 50% of that for the mayor. And then this,
For New Smyrna, it's 50.
for the chair, yeah, 50% of the,
60% for us.
60%, pardon me, 60% of the chair.
Okay.
And then the commissioner, the council members would make 75% of what the mayor makes.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Is there anyone other than New Smyrna that uses a formula similar to this?
There may be throughout the state. I don't have, as
Volusia-
far as
in
the
Volusia
local
County?
data, Volusia County, no.
Okay.
I can tell you from my interactions that a number of people were talking about it just for the same reason. We haven't seen an adjustment in 23 years, soon to be 24 when this takes effect. Everybody else is kind of stuck in that same morass because of it. Comments, questions?
You done all right?
Let's hear from the public. Anyone here care to speak to the item? There being none, back to us. Council?
Just a couple of thoughts on it would be, it was very surprising to see that we're in our 24th year, or coming up on the 24th year, that it has not been adjusted.
Yeah.
That's pretty surprising. As the city grows, I will say that even just in my time on council, the demands for council members to attend events, HOA meetings, special boards, all that other kind of stuff is definitely increasing significantly as the growth of the city and the demands for service have increased. I don't think it should be another 20 to 24 years that something like this is reviewed and adjusted. I would concur with the mayor's concern that we want anybody who wants to serve on this board to be able to do it without creating a financial hardship. You know, the public typically sees us up here on Tuesday nights. A lot of times what they don't see is they don't see the meetings of the pension boards and the TPO boards and the advisory boards and the HOA meetings and the trips to Tallahassee and a lot of those other aspects of what this job entails. So I just would comment that would be my concern, is that I want people in the future who have ever desired or want to do this to be able to do it, you know, without creating a financial hardship on themselves. I would agree with the statement that nobody should be doing this for money, that's for sure. This has to be something that you're first and foremost is in your heart to serve the community. But it does take a tremendous amount of time in some aspects, you know, there's been council members up here, former mayors, they have their own businesses, they lead professional lives, they have to make adjustments and sacrifices to those, and we're thankful that they do, and I want to continue to hope that people in the community will want to do that for sure. So
I don't know about you all, but I am very thankful for my employer to give me the flexibility that I need at times. That is for sure.
Yeah, and to follow up kind of on what Scott said, you know, they see us on Tuesdays and not all the other stuff, but at this current salary, which is 23 plus years old, I'm pretty sure that it's not even, it wouldn't equate to minimum wage once you put all the hours in. It would be below minimum wage. And it was only, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago that we actually got a city cell phone. For the first 7 years or so of my term, I used my own cell phone. You know, we use our own vehicle to go to meetings and do all that. I've taken vacation time from work to go to pension meetings and this and that and the other thing. So you're right. It shouldn't be 24 years before it's adjusted, and I think this formula would put it in a reasonable place, and then based on what the county does, it would it would slide, or it would
It'd be
adjust.
incremental.
Yeah, it would adjust.
It'd be incremental.
And it could adjust up or down with them.
Yes, it could.
If the rates went down, that it would go down as well. So I think we're way past due for something like this.
just to I want to make sure that I understand. So the county council, the chair of the county council, the compensation is $57,357 annually. Is that right, Jamie?
Yes.
And then the compensation for the county commissioner is based on a percentage of that, and they are compensated $47,798 annually. Is that right?
The number is correct. It is the 47,798. It's still a percentage of that number put by the EDR. So the EDR number is published. The county chair receives 60%, and then the county council members receive 50%.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that EDR number, I know was in the 90s.
95, 596.
Yeah, we ain't getting rich like that, no.
And then the proposal of this ordinance would be that the mayor would be compensated at 60% of what the county chair position is.
That is correct.
And then the council would be 75% of the mayor's compensation.
That is correct.
Understand that, right? And that's the model New Smyrna has?
It is similar to the model New Smyrna has. They are based off of the county commissioners, and they are at 50% for the mayor of the county commissioners.
And my opinion was that we should be slightly ahead of that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Comments or questions? None, call the roll.
Councilmember Foley,
No.
Councilmember Tremont,
No.
Councilmember Bastian,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
No.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes. Okay. I see how you guys value my time, but that's okay.
Mayor, so my vote there is I just think that's too big of a jump. But I do think there needs to be an adjustment. So I'd like to entertain a similar model, but entertain that at the 45% threshold versus a 60% threshold in that model. If you guys would like to do that, I'm willing to make that motion.
Well, first of all, you need to motion to reconsider the item.
I'll make a motion to reconsider the agenda item for a different value.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is up for reconsideration. Scott, what is your motion?
So make a motion that we would copy the New Smyrna model. Jamie, you'll probably have to come back up here because I want to make sure that I'm.
Can I make a suggestion? If
Sure.
you're gonna do 45%, do it off of the county chair and not the county council people, so
Okay.
that we'd still be slightly ahead of New Smyrna? Just a thought. But that's up to you, it's your motion.
Ready there, Jamie?
I'm ready.
Make sure I'm following.
I got my
this
numbers
right.
ready.
Yeah. So I would make a motion that we use. I guess it would be the same model that's in the ordinance. The only difference would be instead of the 65 or the 60% value, that we would do 45%.
So if that is still based on the county chair, that would bring the proposed rate to 25,810 for the mayor and 19,358 for the council members.
That'll be my motion then.
So that'll just be a motion to amend the ordinance, and then we can come back and just vote on the ordinance as amended, so we can have first reading done
Is that
today.
the best way to do it?
Yeah, I think that'll be the easiest way. Then on second reading, we can bring it back with your amended number if it gains consensus tonight.
Okay.
Councilman Stiltner, do you want to, to keep it simple, make it 50%?
No.
Just for.
Yeah, I like where I'm at.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment just because if I didn't vote yes, I feel like I need to explain. And not saying I wouldn't support this when it comes back before us, but I'm having an issue mentally with the idea of removing a ability of accountability, right? We have to deal with contract negotiations with unions, and we give our opinions, and we say, hey, here's exactly how much we think we should do, and here's how much we can do for fire, how much we can do for NAGE, how much we can do for police. And I feel like we may be removing a component of that accountability when we sit up here of how much we think we deserve to get paid by handing that over to the county and handing that over to the state. And I'm not saying I won't support this next time. I'm not saying that. But I need to wrestle with that.
No, it's a legitimate argument. I understand that, and I thought about that.
I have to
But
wrestle
also
with that
realize-
between
Go ahead.
now and then and stuff. So that's more my hesitation than anything, is that I believe we need to hold ourselves accountable. So.
Yeah, and it's if the oddest thing about this is a 24-year period of time with absolutely no adjustment whatsoever.
That's the flip side of that.
And how much longer does that go before you end up with an adjustment, and then you lose the people who can actually come up here and do that. You have single mothers who might want to represent. They might want to
I think we already have. I think we've already lost people to do that for sure. No question. No question.
It is complex, but I just want to make sure I explain my hesitancy. So.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I'll make a comment just offer the dissenting opinion. With all due respect, I appreciate everybody's point of view. I don't make a lot of money. This position has never deterred me from wanting to serve my community. Just because we haven't made an adjustment doesn't mean that we're supposed to either. And I also attend a lot of events outside of Tuesday, and I see a lot of the same people at all the events. They're not being paid to be there at all. They're volunteering. With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, my vote of no is not because I don't value your time. That was not a personal vote. It was simply because I disagreed with it.
So you don't value my time?
I'm sorry?
You don't value my time?
No, I value your time. I listened to your points.
The value zero?
But I said no to, I didn't say I'm not willing to pay you, but I'm not willing to double your salary. So, with that said, I think we're paid handsomely enough.
I appreciate the
I
fact
still need
that.
a second. I will second it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to talk over everybody when I knew we needed.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor for the discussion. And I apologize if I seem to take it personally and I took it wrong.
On the amendment.
Yeah. But it does not double the mayor's salary. It does put it slightly ahead of New Smyrna Beach, which this would not do, but that's, me personally, I think that the work that we do is nothing against New Smyrna Beach. I look at the size of the city and the scope of responsibility. The mayor and this council should not be paid less, I don't believe, than any council or commission in the Volusia County area. But this will still leave us significantly behind Daytona Beach, which from an economic driver of the county, I understand why they make the most. It will still be significantly more. I don't feel the need to make $41,000 a year. What's not included in that $41,000 a year is they also get other perks and benefits that we don't get that actually accelerates that salary even further. We don't get anything. We don't get anything. I'm just trying to be competitive, and the number that Scott's talking about basically equates to about a 1.9% raise per year if we'd kept up. That's why I came up with the formula that we did, because I don't want any council in, I'm term limited. So this isn't about me making a bunch of money, be here 10 more years. I'm term limited. I want to speak to the future, and I want to make sure we can always have candidates. And Chase, I appreciate your viewpoint, but not everybody is able to give up their time without being compensated. I want to make sure that anybody who's qualified that can represent this city has the opportunity to sit up here. I'm speaking to the future. That's just my viewpoint. I can tell you for a fact that the city gets a lot of value out of what I do, but I am very, very, very happy to do it.
Well,
Very
we
happy
all
to do it.
use our own vehicles for work-related things too, not to just come
Well,
to and from the meetings, but
And
to
Drew,
do all
that brings up another point. At least we used to be able to get a little bit of tax relief from that. The IRS took that opportunity away from us. The IRS didn't, congressional,
Got it.
but when they redid the tax code a couple years ago. So it actually cost me even more than it did before. As it does you, as it does you, as it does you, as it does you.
I wasn't here the year before.
True. So it's definitely costing you more.
He was still in high school.
Hey, easy.
Wow. What's the motion on the floor? Please, what's the motion we have on the floor?
Amend the ordinance
I love you,
to
bud.
45%
Had to lighten it
for
up.
the
That
mayor
was good.
instead of 60%.
Okay. With that, let's hear from the public again if anybody wants to speak to it.
We got 75.
Stan Schmidt, 5574 Trailside Drive. I used to be on the school board, and we had to deal with this because the state set our rates too. The difference between the county commission is that by their charter, they used to be set at 50% of whatever the state number came at. And then when we went from just a regular person being named the chairman of the county commission, then they gave that person the extra bump, and that was the difference between the regular county commissioner and the chairman of the county commission.
Stan, if you don't know, does the county commission and the school board also get pension benefits as well? Through FRS?
I can only speak to the county, but yes, they did. County got, school board, I'm sorry.
Okay.
School board got insurance benefits and pension benefits.
County does as well.
County does too.
Mm-hmm. On any other comments, council?
And to be clear, we don't get any pension benefit. That's, the way that came up, people might get confused that we're
No,
tying it
yeah,
to that. We
that's-
get zero.
that's a them thing, not an
yes,
us thing.
There's nothing, yeah. Just wanted to
And
make
the
that clear.
voters can retire us anytime they want to.
Yep.
Final comments? Call the roll on the motion?
Can someone make clear, we're doing this for first reading tonight, or this is to have it brought back before us?
So this one is the motion to amend the ordinance, then it'll come back to you tonight on the next motion, presumably,
Okay,
to adopt as amended.
For first reading, okay. Call the roll? Councilmember Foley?
No.
Councilmember Tremont?
No.
Councilmember Bastian?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steltner?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett? Yes. Okay. Matt, do we need anything else on that?
Just, so now.
We need to vote on the main motion?
Yeah, amended ordinance 2022-1.
On the amended ordinance, call the roll?
Actually, need a motion first and a second.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help, huh?
That's okay.
Move to adopt the amended ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Council comments? Anyone here care to comment? Back to us. Now call the roll.
Councilmember Foley?
No.
Councilmember Tremont?
No.
Councilmember Bastian?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steltner?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett?
Yes, 3-2. That brings us to item 26, adoption of the Port Orange Council local rules and procedures. May I have a motion? Scott.
Move to approve item 26.
Second.
I'll second.
Which is the local rules, procedures for 2022 as presented. Who's presenting? So we have a motion, a second?
I second.
The
yes.
item is on the floor for discussion. When do we need,
If you would like
Yeah,
information, the city clerk can present. The majority of the changes are related to the 11 o'clock ending time and how you handle proclamations and other formal acts like the key to the city. So
I think that you just recapped it, now she doesn't have to.
that's so far to go from there to the microphone.
Not, and various other grammatical cleanup.
Yes.
Council comments, questions? Would anyone here care to speak to the item? There being none, back to us. There being none, call the roll.
Councilmember Foley?
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont?
Yes.
Councilmember Bastian?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steltner?
Yes.
Mayor Burnett?
Yes. 5-0. City Attorney,
No comments tonight.
excellent report. City Manager?
Well, I actually had an item tonight to thank Robin Hayes for her time, but you did that for me, so.
You can do that again.
You can do, yeah.
I did want to say that in the short time that she was here, she really did a tremendous had a very positive impact on our finance department. We had solid, high-quality people that are here, and she was able to bring the best out of them and bring them together and move this organization through our budget process while we did union negotiations, a number of very important conclusion of the audit, CDBG projects. There were a lot of large projects that were done in that short period of time. We appreciate her being here, her time and her excellence. She also assisted us. We have completed interviews on finance director. I don't have a name yet because we have not yet made the formal offer and had an acceptance, but hopefully at the next meeting we'll be able to tell you, and we appreciated her support and assistance in that as well. So there were a number of things that she did positively, and as Vice Mayor Steltner mentioned, and all of you have, we will continue that positive relationship going forward. We expect to spend a lot of time working with her in the future too.
Excellent.
Probably won't have her up here every day, but she's welcome.
Anything else?
95's an easy drive, right?
It'll be quick.
First Step Shelter?
Nothing to report outside of continuing to stick with the strategy of not allowing walk-ups to come in. That was something that I brought before council a while back. Not council, excuse me, the board. Never sat well with me that somebody who is willing to go through the program wants to check themselves in, yet we don't allow them to come through without a referral from law enforcement or from a local church or whatnot. And you know, the way the staff had presented the entire process of the admittance of going through, you know, it's a 5 to 6 hour ordeal as far as an orientation to get them into the program. And the fear was spending 3 to 4 hours with somebody who has not gone through any sort of referral process to get into us would be a real drain on the limited staff that we already have. Should they get 3 to 4 hours in and decide, you know, this isn't really for me, I'm not ready to, I don't really want to do this. So by having a more of a streamlined approach, I'm still, I would like to see the shelter get to the point to where they can allow walk-ups, but I understand the staff's hesitancy at this point, while we're still not even at the full capacity that we're built to be. But with that said, you know, we've got over 100 people that have been put into permanent housing, which I think is phenomenal. It's 100 lives that have been changed, and it makes me feel better about, you know, being involved, not just for the sake of putting the tool in the box of our law enforcement to keep our parks clean, but we're not contributing to a shelter that is there to simply enable further homelessness. It's not a handout, it is a legitimate hand up. So, you know, I feel that the tax dollars are getting the biggest bang for the buck in that regard.
Is there any talk about what it's going to take to, I mean, because it's like half capacity of what's
yeah, we can get you know, we have to order the more beds, but really it's a matter, this became a situation last year where the question was, well, what's our budget? You know, so here's where our budget is. We have to live within the means of that, and this is what we can do with the budget that we have. So
it's dollar driven.
Yeah, so exactly. So everything is contingent upon the ability to raise more funds to get more people in there.
Jason,
You look like you got a question.
If they have a walk-up, can't they just call the sheriff's office to come and do an evaluation? Because I mean, the sheriff's department's got a substation right there.
Yeah, and that's where I'd like to see at the very least to have a period during the day in which, but there's more to it. It wouldn't just be that; it would be our medical unit as well, because the overwhelming majority of these people that are coming in have some sort of mental deficiency, and it's I'd say 80 to 90% of them that are coming in. So if we don't have any medical staff that is there at the time, that would, of course, hinder that ability to take them at that moment. So part of the strategy of allowing deferrals is we can arrange for appropriate staff that needs to be there at the time to give a mental evaluation, if you will.
So what happened? Walk me through what. So if somebody walks all the way out to that facility and they're denied, what happens? They just
at that point they'd be referred to the safe zone until we figure. So they're not just going to be shunned away.
Right. So they're going to stay at this. They're going to basically be able to go hang out at the safe zone.
Yeah, not going to kick them off the property. I mean, there's another option until we can figure out another means.
What is the procedure on cold weather nights for people in the safe zone?
About the same as it is, throughout. Last year we had, 4 to 5, one of the space heaters that were provided for us. They were on loan for us. Good question. I've got to call into our director. I had missed the last meeting, but that is on my list of questions to address with her as we have the cold days coming ahead. So we have accommodated folks in the past. Bringing them inside is not an option. Figuring out a way to keep some heat out there in the safe zone is priority.
Okay. That it?
That's it.
Art House? Chase, Art
Oh,
House?
excuse me, I'm sorry, that's me. Yeah, no, I don't have an update on that.
Okay. Port Orange South Daytona Chamber of Commerce. The city manager will be meeting with them for the monthly meeting on Friday. I will not be able to attend, but if anybody wants to sit in my place on Friday morning at 8 o'clock with the Port Orange Chamber, say so now or say the word. I'd love to have somebody sit there in my place.
When is that?
Friday morning at 8.
Let me look at my calendar. Just
What
make
is
sure.
this again?
I mean, me and Wayne meet with chamber representatives on a monthly basis.
I can do it if need be.
Okay, I'd appreciate it. I
All
think
right.
it'd be good for you to sit in on that. You know those, you know them. They're good folks. And help
Happy
with
to-
the communication.
Happy to do it.
Okay. They do have an after hours this Thursday prior to our town hall meeting, and they usually have it from 5 to 7. They move the time from 4:30 to 6:30 to help accommodate us and hopefully funnel some people to that town hall meeting. So, see, appreciate them. They're working with us on that. Roundtable of elected officials met last week in Deltona. We got an update from the county health department on COVID-19 vaccine progress and the like. Donna Butler, the community service director for the county, gave us an update on affordable housing initiatives, and boy, do I know that we have a long way to go with that. Ben Bartlett, public works director for the county, gave a roads and infrastructure update from a county perspective. And the reason why that was requested is, okay, what do we have on the books as far as projects to address the concerns that we have? There are quite a few. The one that I had a problem with is that of all the failing roads in the 4 county road districts, they had something to address the stretch of Williamson from Bevel Road to Madeline, but not address the stretch crossing the interstate into Port Orange. So I'm like, I'd really like you to take a look at the opposite end of that, because I think what you're doing is finding a way to, and solving that portion of the failing road, to get people even faster into another portion of failing road. So I asked them to take a look at the priority as that. The main reason also is to talk about funding for roads, and the county manager estimated that the projects that are on the book, yes, multiple funding sources, there are about $100 million conservatively in projects that are unfunded, and that conservatively we can estimate that the cities all have another $50 million in unfunded projects. Heidi Herzberg, the chair of the roundtable, talked about putting together an ad hoc committee again to talk about what we can do about that. I know that a couple years ago, I think it was done very poorly. I preferred the school board model when they talked about a half-cent sales tax. And whether you're talking about a sales tax or whatever it is you've got to move slowly and methodically so you can involve the public in those decisions. And then, for some strange reason, after she mentioned the need to put a committee together, she looked straight at me and said, "You want to be on it, right?" I'm like, "Thanks a lot." So in future roundtable meetings, we will be moving forward with what we want to do with the composition of that committee, and I'd like it to be a combination of elected officials. I want it to be people on that committee that are non-elected, that have expert power, and I want it to be citizens, so that everybody's represented. Whether we're talking about funding or just prioritizing what we do, we need to keep talking about that, because I don't think the road problem is real to everybody, because we see traffic, but we don't and we see the problems with it, but we don't necessarily see the roads crumbling and falling apart. Because right now we're keeping up, barely. We're we're taking care of roads on a 20 to 25 year basis that need to be done on a 15 to 20. But as we progress down the road, we'll see the negative inputs of that. So we'll see what the elected officials come up with for that. Opioid legislation was also discussed and talked about, and then we voted upon that tonight as well for the City of Port Orange participation in the opioid litigation. And then they talked about the Mayor Fitness and Wellness Challenge that the county's doing. So we got a little bit of an update and talked about what other cities are doing. So Wayne will have a vibrant conversation about that because I know ours is coming up in the spring as well. So that was the roundtable of elected officials. River to CTPO.
So I have not gotten the pleasure of having my first meeting yet. That'll actually happen while we're doing Port Orange and Volusia Days up in Tallahassee. So I'll be doing that one virtually on the 26th. I do know that they are still conducting the search committee, trying to find the search for executive director. Also, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee, which Port Orange does not have someone on currently representing us. I spoke to Wayne and Jamie about the process of how I go about appointing somebody, and it looks like that would be my discretion. I've started reaching out to a few people I think would be good for it, and I'll try to fill it here, and I'll come back to you guys and let you know once that's been accomplished.
Okay. And with that, any other business come before us this evening? There being none, everybody have a good night. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks. No, we're going to see you all Thursday at the town hall.
Yes. I got